about it, and I'll try to keep it brief, maybe a segment or two, and then talk about some of the news that has happened. I originally had a completely different show planned. Ironically enough, I was going to talk about crime in other countries, and I had a guest in the studio, and we recorded a couple of segments, and we're going to talk about that. That'll be next week now. I'm going to be going on vacation, so, I plan on doing that stuff next week, but that's what I was planning instead. But I want to address this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Our country, it is hurting, and I don't mean just politically or culturally. I mean deep down in the soul of America, we are fractured. It's not, in the grand scheme of things, a very long time. And I can't help but ask myself, what happened? How did we go from being one nation undergone to a place where violence is seen by someone as an acceptable way to silence political opponents or those who have a different opinion than yours? And I say all of this because of Charlie Kirk. And I don't care if you love Charlie or if you couldn't stand him. Violence is never the answer. This isn't just politics. This is about a human life. And you can disagree with every single thing a person stands for. You can oppose their ideas. You can debate with them. You can argue with them. You can campaign against them. That's all fair game. To hate someone because of their beliefs, to kill them because you disagree with them, that is not courage, that is not justice, that is just pure evil. And yet, what's even more disturbing is you see people cheering it on. You see people celebrating it. Celebrating the death of someone because you don't like what he believes. That is a sickness of our time. If you can find joy in tragedy, you are part of the very problem that's ripping this nation apart. To kill someone who encouraged healthy debate, who was opening the eyes of the younger generation, teaching them that it's okay to critically think. To me, this is one of the largest hits on free speech. And I have seen over the last couple of days, there's so many people just say horrible things, calling them fascist and whatnot. To murder someone of political opposition, to snuff out their voice, that is fascism. These people should be ashamed of what our culture has become. The United States was founded on freedom and law and justice. And those values don't mean that we will always agree on everything 100% of the time. They mean that we respect each other's right to hold different beliefs. And I believe we are at a crossroads, my friends. Either we wake up and we remember who we are, or we will watch this country just fall apart. And let me tell you, and you know this, but I'll say it out loud again. If America fractures beyond repair, there is nowhere else to run. This is it. This is the last great hope. What happened to Charlie Kirk was an absolute tragedy that makes me sick to see people celebrating his death. He was 31 years old. He's 2 years older than me. He had a wife, 2 young children that will never know their father. And I think that out of this whole situation, there's so many different aspects of this that are just heartbreaking. But to me, that is is the most heartbreaking of all, that the children will never know their father. He will miss every monumental milestone. And to celebrate that, we got Richmond in the wrong. I talk about my faith pretty frequently here on the show. And on Wednesday evening, after hearing everything that had happened, I went to my church. My church doesn't offer a mass on Wednesdays, just because, we're a relatively small church, rural church. But I went in, and it was quiet. It was just me, myself, and Jesus. And I sat and I really, really prayed. What was the last thing I prayed? I pray every day, but I pray extra hard on Wednesday. I pray not only for Charlie, but for his wife and his children. To find peace, to find comfort and strength over the next couple of weeks, and even over the next couple of years. Because grief, it doesn't just end on just 1 week. No, it lasts a lifetime. And I prayed for his friends and his other family members. And I prayed for the people who were there and witnessed this horrific attack. And I prayed for our country and to help heal this political faction that we are witnessing. And friends, I have a feeling you'll know this one. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And right now, America is that divided house. And we really have to fight for it. Let us pray that our country has its sight restored and we move in a better direction. Springfield Talk from the good one. I'm Sam Myers.
People on the left don't seem to care so much about Ukraine. They only when they can virtue signal, stand on the side of the road near the little walkover bridge on South Campbell by Steak and Shake holding Ukrainian flags. But the minute that it's a problem here, particularly one that highlights a problem that is facilitated and oftentimes created by their political party, suddenly we shouldn't care about these individuals. Your home for Author of the Week, Thursday mornings, sponsored by ABC Books on North Glenstone.
All right, we'll be back Thursday. President Trump and Rose Garden. No, this is we need the announcements. No.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we begin, we express the horror and grief of so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk felt. The giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big.
Turn on your TV. You're not ashamed. You're not? How about I'm trying to justify your the left can only resort to violence. When the debate stage, can't articulate and win over. Based on value. You have to go by feel, you have to go by emotion. Unfortunately, since that's failing, violence. Here's Charlie Kirk, looking his own words, his observation.
At the core of the left, at the core of a liberal, is someone that would use the sword if they had to. They are very violent people. They always have. They can't debate. They can't have conversation. They do everything they possibly can to try to murder this thing. But this thing is, so they're going to try to say, fuck it. You know, we're very aware that I'm aware because of the security. This is not good. This is who these people are.
Exactly. It's not all. We're not saying all Democrats. Not all liberals. But I tell you what, you're being very complacent, aren't you?
But what about those two Democrat representatives from Minnesota? You remember them?
Yeah, I remember they were killed by appointed by Governor Tim Walz. You know what he did. So he friends of the Democrats.
So he voted for Republican.
I've been thinking about that. If you do a search of the shooter, of those numbers of two state representatives, go in their house, build an eye, dress up like a cop. The next year, the press, when I did, they go, well, he voted Republican in 2024. I got to think, how do they know that he voted for Republican in 2024? Because in a general election, you only have one ballot. They don't ask you a Republican or a Democrat. You all get the same ballot. And so what most likely he did is he voted in Republican primary. You know what? In 2016, I voted for the Democrat. Now, I sure did primary. I wanted to support Bernie Sanders to give Hillary Clinton a fight. Operation Operation Chaos. Let's just get this primary election going. The more votes we got, the harder it's going to be for Hillary to wrap it up. And so I guess that if I was to have been caught in some kind of crime or scandal, they would have said he voted for a Democrat. That does not make one a Democrat or make one a Republican. So no, I'm sorry, that's not the same. The individuals who intend to take the life of our president, the individuals who shot up that Catholic school last week, the individual who killed Charlie Kirk, not a Republican, not a conservative. You know what's interesting is Crooks guy didn't say that he was transgender or going through that kind of stuff. While everybody else was stuck in their home. Arresting people who got on the beach by themselves. You're trying to kill somebody. I mean, people were arrested for going to church, and we're not fascists. Morally what it is. The Democrats have mastered the art of gaslighting. Gaslighting is when you accuse the other person of doing exactly what you want to do. The left, the Democrats, supporting them. You watch November, they're going to race in New York City to elect that commie socialist Mondani. celebration all week. We want more control. We want the government to be in charge of what we have. We talked about that last week. How many young people have a favorable communism? Communism. And we can thank our education system. That's what they're learning. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a plague here even in Springfield. How many children are being exposed to indoctrination and making them question whether they should be a boy or a girl, whether they should be happy with their body or not? It's sick. It is very sick. J.D. Vance, I heard about it. New Trump member. He wrote quite a bit out. Check it out. And then he gave Trump a true friend. That guy, you can say something to you know, you always stay with him. I'm in more than one. I am more than a huge reach out to Trump. And people we in high school for years. Celebrate weddings, babies, bless each other's chops, and mourn the loss of loved ones. It goes on and says, reading West Wing, those group chats started writing up, and people telling Charlie they were praying for